Hello everyone and welcome to another lesson in English grammar. Now if you look at this picture, you see the very first picture is of a man with his legs apart, his hands up in the air, then someone jumping, someone sitting in yoga position, someone with their hands wide open, someone standing, sitting, walking, playing, etc. And you know that these are all actions taking place. So in today's lesson, we will learn about these action words and their types in types of verbs. A verb is a word or a combination of words that indicates action, a condition or a state of being. Now you already know that a verb is an action word. So running, jumping, fighting, etc. are action words or verbs. But verbs also indicate condition and a state of being like is, was, were, know and understand. Okay, so you can see various actions being performed here known as verbs. Sing, okay, swim, hide behind a tree, etc. Now, a verb is that part of the sentence which tells us what action is performed by the subject, and it is very important. It is the most important part of speech because no sentence can survive without a verb. To see that it is a sentence, it has to have a verb. The different types of verbs or verb classification. We first have action verbs. They can be classified as transitive or intransitive. Then we have the finite and the non-finite verbs. And non-finite verbs are participle, gerund, and infinitive. If you need to know more about finite and non-finite verbs, there is a separate video on this in my channel, and also another video or separately on participles. So you get a better idea of what are finite and non-finite verbs and separately what are participles. Then we have linking verbs, auxiliary verbs and modal verbs. Modal verbs also known to you as modal auxiliaries. So there is another separate video on my channel which you can access and refer to if you need to know more about modals. Now look at this sentence. Rahim painted that car and Seema is reading a book. Here we have Seema and Rahim, which are the subjects. Painted and is reading, which are the verbs. And car and book, which are the objects. Because Rahim painted something. What was that something? Car. Seema is reading something. What is that something? A book. So car and book are objects. Which brings us to the first type of action word, that is the transitive verb, which in a sentence has a direct object. Now these transitive verbs demand something or someone to be acted upon. In these sentences, the car and the book are acted upon. One is being painted and one is being read. So whenever in a sentence you have verbs that have a subject and a direct object, and the action is done by the subject to that object, they are called transitive verbs. The little girl smiled. Raj wakes up early. Now we have the subject in the first sentence, the little girl. And Raj is the subject in the next sentence. What did the little girl do? She smiled. And what did Raj do? He woke up. You can see both the sentences have no objects. So this type of action word in which the verb does not act upon something. Now it can be followed in a sentence by an adverb, adjective, preposition or any other part of speech, but there is no object on which the action is done by the subject. And these type of words like In these sentences, smile and wakes are intransitive verbs. The next type of classification, those boys play cricket. Virat is playing for India. So we see play in the first sentence and play becomes is playing in the second sentence. Now, these type of words are called finite verbs or the root verbs of a sentence. They are the verbs that are acted upon or refers to a subject, and main thing is they use one of the 12 forms of tenses. Okay, they also change according to the number and person of the subject. Meaning, we have 12 tenses like 3 simple tenses, 3 progressive or continuous tenses, 3 perfect tenses and 3 perfect continuous tenses. So if you see play can change to is playing, will play, had played, have been playing. Okay. These type of verbs which can change according to the person they are talking about. In this sentence it is Virat, one person. In the first sentence it is those boys, many people. So those boys play cricket. It will be Virat plays cricket or Virat will play cricket. So when they change according to the tense, the number that is singular or plural, those words, those root verbs are called finite verbs. Dhoni went to play. Playing cricket is his passion. Now if you look at the first sentence, Dhoni went to play. The verb here or the root verb or the finite verb is went. He went. What did he go to do? He went to play. Now, I can change it to Dhoni goes to play. Dhoni will go to play. Dhoni has been going to play. So this means that went will be the finite verb. But the to play doesn't change. It remains as is. Okay? And Dhoni went is the sentence. We're just adding to play. In the second sentence, cricket is his passion. And then we are adding here playing cricket. So is the root verb or the finite verb here, and playing is added as a verb which is not actually a verb. Okay, so that brings us to the non-finite verbs. Okay, now non-finite verb is not an actual verb. In the sentence, it works as a noun, adjective, adverb, etc. And these non-finite verbs do not change according to the number or the singular, plural, okay, because they don't have any direct relationship to the subject. As I told you in the first sentence, Dhoni went. He went to play. If I change the finite verb to Dhoni has been going to play doesn't change. Okay, because it is not an actual verb. Similarly, playing cricket is his passion. Cricket is his passion. Cricket will be his passion. Cricket was his passion. Cricket had been his passion. So is will be the finite or the root verb, and playing is an action word which is not used as a verb. Okay. So these are called non-finite verbs and they are of 3 types. Let us see what they are. Dhoni went to Mumbai to play cricket. I had enough to eat. Now, if I ask you what is the verb in these sentences, immediately some of you will say to play and the second one to eat. But to play and to eat are not the verbs here. They are not the root or the finite verbs. Went is the finite verb and had is the finite verb here. So to eat and to play now are the first type of non-finite verb, which is an infinitive. Now infinitive is formed from a verb but doesn't act as a verb. It acts as a noun, an adjective or adverb, and it is made up of 2 words, that is to plus the verb. to play, to eat, to sing, to cry, to climb, to walk, etc. are all infinitives. Now, if I say walking is a verb, but to walk is not a verb. Here in this first sentence, Dhoni went. The action that Dhoni is doing is he went. What did he go for? He went to play. So to play is an infinitive now which is acting as a noun. He went to do something. What did he go to do? To play. Okay, so we have the first non-finite verb. They never change. We cannot say to plays, to playing, to had played. No, it remains the same. To play, to eat, to cry, etc. Running and jogging is fun. Now, whenever I ask this question to any of the students, they say, Miss, running and jogging are the verbs. Yeah, running and jogging are actions. But in this sentence, is the main or the finite verb. What is fun? Running and jogging. So now we have the names of two things that are fun. Naming words. So running and jogging actually are the names of the things that are fun in this sentence. So when we have naming words, you know that they are nouns. So now running and jogging, though they look like verbs, okay, they are actions, but they are not used as action words or verbs in this sentence. They are used as nouns. So running and jogging are nouns in this sentence. Similarly, that is a good painting. Is again is the verb or the root verb or the finite verb. What? Painting. Again we get the word which is a naming word for something which is called a painting. So now running, jogging, painting, though they are actions, they are used in these sentences as naming words or nouns. And that brings us to the second non-finite verb, that is a gerund. Gerund is an ing form of a verb that works as a noun or a naming word. So all gerunds are ing words and they are verbs but work as nouns in sentences. I saw a pond teeming with fish. Now, I saw. Saw is your main finite root verb of the sentence. I will see, I will be seeing. Okay, we can change it. So saw becomes the main or the root verb or the finite verb. And we have another action word here, teeming. Teeming means having lots of fish. So teeming is another verb which doesn't act like a verb. It acts as a describing word. What kind of pond? Pond teeming with fish. So we have an ing word here which does not act as a noun but acts as an adjective describing this pond. Let's see another sentence. Driven by ambition, he works hard. Works here is your finite verb because you know he is working, he will be working, we can change it. So this is your finite verb. But we have another word here, driven. Okay. Driven by ambition. We are describing this person as driven. We are describing the pond as teeming with fish. So when we use words like this, which describe something in a sentence, that brings us to the third type of non-finite verb, which is a participle. It is the ing form of a verb that works as an adjective. Ing form is the present participle and the past participles normally end with en, ed and t. And as I told you before, there's another video on my channel only dealing with the three types of participles. You can refer for better understanding. The food was delicious. Alan is a very nice person. Now, the food was delicious. What is the verb here? Okay, now you know that was is a verb. Alan is a very nice person. is the verb here. Okay, so this is now linking verbs. They add details about the subject of a sentence. They connect the subject and the complement. Okay, now what is this complement? You know that a sentence has a subject and an object. Subject is someone who's doing the work, and object is the thing that is work is done upon. Okay, now a complement is when we have something more in the sentence which is not an object. The food was delicious is your complement. Alan is very nice person is your complement. We can drink. Okay, what can we drink? Some water. So this is the complement. Okay, so when we have words like am, is, are, was, were, sometimes because, become, seem, appear, these are linking words which connect the subject not to an object but to a complement. They are called linking words. Alex is going to school. They are walking in a park. Now, if you look at the first sentence, Alex is going. So we have both these as the verb. Are walking. They are walking. Now, these type of verbs are called auxiliary verbs, helping verbs. They extend the main verb by helping to show time, tense, and possibility. Auxiliary verbs are be verbs, have, and do. Okay, they are used in continuous and perfect tenses. Okay, so when I say is going, okay, so this is an auxiliary verb. Are walking, are is the auxiliary verb. Is going, has gone, have gone. Okay, will be going, walking. Okay, so all these which are used before the main verb and are in continuous tenses, maybe ing, or perfect tenses, had, gone. Okay, so have, do, and be are the auxiliary verbs, and they are different conjugations. She should call him. Okay, she should call him. It tells you something that she needs to call him or she ought to call him. She can call him. She may call him. She must call him. So this word here can give us different nuances of one sentence. Similarly, I may bake a cake today. I will bake a cake today. I can bake a cake today. I must bake a cake today. So these are something that you already know called modal auxiliaries. And they are the last type of verb, which are modal verbs. They are also type of auxiliary or helping verb. They help the main verb like call and bake to indicate possibility, ability, permission, obligation, and all the modal verbs are can, could, must, may, might, ought to, shall, should, will, and would. So in this sentence, I may bake a cake today. I can say I shall bake, I might bake, I could bake, I will bake. So we can change it to indicate possibility, ability, permission, obligation, etc. As we end the lesson, some more information. Action words and linking words are main verbs. Helping words in this green circle here are not main verbs. They are auxiliary verbs. You can use this exercise to know whether you have fully understood what are verbs. And this is important. Read through it, go through it. These are all verbs which are not common, like run, jump, fight, cry, etc. We have verbs like indulge, meander, devour, scrounge, growl. All action words. Find out the meanings. Increase your vocabulary.